Greetings herpetologists everywhere. I'm John Walton, and this is Apollo T. python, or the royal python. He's a reticulated species of python that would have originated in the African continent, and they're known to be called python regal because of the colour of the skin, or the patterns they emanate. Now Apollo here, which I've given him Apollo because the Greek god Apollo slayed the python, so I've named him after a nice little namesake. Now he's a male python and he's very young. If you can tell by the shape of his head and the bulk of his body, he's pretty young. He's about 2.5 years old, and Apollo likes to eat rats. Now lately I've been trying to feed him regular sized rats or small rats, but he's not eating them, so I'm theorising I might have tried to move him on a bit too soon. So instead I'm off to try and get him some large baby rats, or just some small rats so he can eat twice a day, or just once in a while before he's actually big enough to move on to the larger species. Now I always do this because as an amateur herpetologist and python enthusiast, I always try and make sure his diet is regulated. I keep him hydrated, make sure his vivarium is at an adequate temperature to keep him comfortable. It is vital when you're looking after a python, you make sure they're in a comfortable temperature, comfortable environment, and that you also do a lot of regular interaction. Especially with snakes, if you interact with them at a young age, they're more likely to be easier to handle as an adult. Royal pythons are the most easiest species of snake on the planet to be handled because they've got a very docile temperament, and when they're usually threatened, they usually ball up. Apollo here has not balled up because he's used to me, and I've handled him since I bought him when he was a few months old. So as you can see, Apollo is quite young for his age because his head's not fully grown. He's got some unusual markings on his skin, like one over here. It's like a little love heart, as it's a unique identifiable feature for python. Now this little fella here, when I actually got him, he was starting to shed, and he sheds every couple of weeks, but you notice when he sheds when his skin will be much more darker, and his eyes will be give it like a cloudish blue hue, and he won't be wanting to eat anything for a few weeks, or he will be a bit grumpy, because when a python's shedding the skin, there's a lot of fluid build up, and he won't want to eat anything. He won't want to eat anything, or he doesn't want to be disturbed because he won't be able to see his prey, or see the people. Now, as you can see, Apollo here is quite used to me handling him and lifting him up. But as you can see, how just by looking at him, he's quite tall, and he's not just docile, but he's also very friendly and curious for his species. Now, one of the things that I want to give some tips for people for when they're looking after a python. Always before you even get a snake or a python, always do the research about how to look after them, how to feed a python, and also think about, can you afford to have a python as well, because having a pet is nothing cheap. Because to get over a python alone, it's not just about buying him. You're not just about buying the snake, you've got to get him out first a terrarium, you've got to get him a little den so he can hide in a bowl, you've got to get him wood chippings, you've got to get him moss so they can shed the skin in, and when they grow up to about a year old, about a year and a half, they need a bigger vivarium. And Apollo here has a massive vivarium which has 2 little floors, and it's got a lot of moss in it. It's got a bit of sandpaper. It's got a tree trunk. It's got like a branch or a mossy branch to climb on for a bit of enrichment. He's got a log he can hide in. He's got some fake leaves. Got a rock to shed against, which is perfectly good for when you're getting an adult python. But when you're looking after him, you've got to make sure his enclosure is moisturised. And also think, can you really afford to get the vivarium now, or so in the future? And would you need to get a heat mat? You need to think about how much it would cost to look after Apollo or any other snake or python. Because usually you've got to get a good supply of food. Some pythons would be fed every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Some may get fed on a weekly basis. You've got to try and get moss for the enclosure to make it easier. And wood chippings aren't cheap either, and you've got to clean out the enclosure once every 2 weeks. But there's a lot of responsibility, and you should always try and be responsible when having a pet. Now, in regards to feeding, as I said earlier, he eats rats. He eats frozen rats that are being defrosted, because a lot of people who have a pet will often try and feed a snake live food. Now, it's recommended for any first time snake owners, python owners, or anyone that's using a reptile, such as Paul here, you never feed live. A, because you're not experienced enough, and B, trying to feed a live animal can be deemed cruel. In the United Kingdom here, it's classed as animal cruelty to feed a live animal. To getting a snake or getting a rat or a mouse from a pet store to feed to snakes classed as animal cruelty. However, you can get pre-frozen rats to feed, which is perfectly legal. On another note, when you try and feed the python live food, there's a chance that the live food could attack the python in return and cause a significant health risk. Because some snakes and pythons, when they're being attacked by their prey, end up being blinded in one eye, getting the scales damaged, or worse. So you've got to think about how you want to feed an animal. A lot of people I know with bigger snakes will try and feed a live bunny rabbit to the snake every now and then, which is okay, but still a bit disturbing. I mean, the poor rabbit. But Apollo here will only be in frozen food that's been thawed out until further notice, because I myself, as a person, an amateur herpetologist and python enthusiast, do not feel it's appropriate to feed them live animals, and I don't feel comfortable feeding them live food just in case a worst case scenario happens. Also, for people out there, if you want, always try, if you're in America, Australia, or you still want to do live feeding here in the UK, I'm not going to condone it, but always make sure you buy it from pet store. Even though it can be classed as animal cruelty, some owners will let you buy live rats or mice to feed them. Never use wild caught rats or mice, as they may have diseases or pathogens which could be harmful to the python. So I'm John, and this is my first video on python care, and this is Apollo T Python, and we're signing out for the video.